Hey guys, this is the Cougar Eliminator Den. My name's Sean. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Now on to today's video. Off the 9-inch for the Cougar. This is degreased and it's got surface rust and stuff on it. So I'm going to end up dunking this in my rust removing tank. And here I have the alternator, the power steering pulley, which I also dunked in a degreaser to clean it up. Didn't take all the paint off, but that's fine. I'm gonna end up putting it in the rust remover as well. And down here we have the pinion support for the rear end. I just blew this thing off. All these parts I just kind of blew off with air and cleaned them up a little bit because I missed a spot in there. But this is gonna end up getting painted red oxide. Don't know if I'm gonna do that right now. Might end up using some paint thinner on it to clean it up and then paint it, but we'll see. But yeah, these parts turned out pretty good. I'm gonna end up dunking these in the tank on the side of the house. And I got one of the spindles right here. I just pulled out of the the degreaser tank, and I cleaned it up with paint thinner. And I'm just letting that dry. That's gonna end up getting clear coated. It's not perfect. There's still some stuff hanging on, but I'm not really too worried about it. It's looking pretty good. And all this stuff right here gets clear coated. One of the things that's been on the to-do list is clean up the drive shaft for the GT. I have it down here. It's decently rusty. I haven't done, I think I might have dipped it in degreaser, so it's relatively clean. It has a lot of rust on it though. Here we go. Fresh bucket of molasses and 5 gallons. I'm going to dump a good bit of this in this container here. All right, here's the mixture. Take a caramel color. I mixed it up pretty good with this stick right here. So now I'm ready to dip my drive shaft. The drive shaft wanted to float, and I needed to be fully dipped, so I put some bricks in here just to hold it in the meantime. So I swung by Home Depot earlier today. I picked up a couple different cans of paint, more satin clear. I've been running through this stuff kind of quick. Already went through a whole can almost for just spraying various parts. And I picked up some gloss clear. I think I'm going to use this, or at least I'm going to test it and see how it turns out on this red oxide. Because as far as I know, this red oxide is a little bit too flat for how Ford would have painted the red oxide that Ford used for priming the rear end parts and whatever else. So I'm going to spray either the satin clear or the gloss clear over. I actually, this little spot right here is satin clear on top of red oxide, so that's how it would look. It's still pretty flat. So I'm thinking I'm going to spray a little tester right here of red oxide and then put some gloss clear over it and see how it looks. And then maybe I'll spray these parts in gloss clear. Some stuff hanging over here that I painted earlier in clear, satin clear. Here's the yoke for the rear end. I didn't paint the shaft because that's obviously going to be going into the end of the transmission. I don't want paint on that. I did get a little bit. I'll have to clean this up, but I mostly painted the end here where the joint is. And I got another pinion snubber bracket here. Cleared that, and I have the ram cylinder up here. Painted this. I dipped these spindles in the degreaser. Just took them out earlier today, cleaned them up with mineral spirits, so I got them looking pretty good, but they're raw metal. And I was kind of looking at each of these and noticing that there is some reddish coloring on these, so I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to do some research. It's possible these are painted red from the red oxide from the factory. I'm used to dealing with 69 and 70 stuff, and those are raw heat treated steel, which cause rust, pretty quickly because they're just raw metal. But it's possible these were actually red oxide from the factory, because I do recall seeing red oxide spindles on cars. I just didn't know why people were doing that, but it's possible that that's actually how they did it from the factory. So I'm gonna have to do some research on these. If they were indeed red oxide from the factory, then I will end up painting them. And I have the coil here. I actually cleaned it up Didn't really do anything to it. Just went pretty non-abrasive, just using some mineral spirits and stuff on it. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might clear coat it. I don't really want to paint it black, but I might. We'll see. That's just in the corner over here, just hanging out. So I've got the steering box here. Up until now, I was using hand brushes and hand sponges and hand whatever to try to clean this thing up, and it did a pretty good job. But there's some little spots that are just tough to get to, and I decided I'd go the power route. So here I have a drill with a small little wire wheel on it. I'm going to use that on this thing and see if I can get this cleaned up and looking a little bit better. I'd love to take this thing apart and do a full rebuild on it, but I just don't think that's a priority right now, if you guys are wondering. So, plus I don't think I have the capability to do it. I'd have to take it somewhere. So I guess, yeah, the plan now is just clean it up, and down the road, if I feel like I need to rebuild it, the steering is sloppy or what have you, then I'll go down that road. But right now we're just cleaning it up. And for some cool little facts real quick, hope you guys can see this well. I'll turn it sideways. You can see 7E15, 67, E is May, January, February, March, April, May, 15th, so May 15th, 1967. And if you didn't know, DIF means Detroit Iron Foundry. That is where Ford cast a lot of their parts, was at the Detroit Iron Foundry. So pretty cool. I'm still cleaning it up, and it's looking pretty good. Try not to go too crazy. I don't want to make it super shiny or anything. I just want to get all the surface rust and stuff off it. So it's coming along pretty good. All right, guys, so this is how it turned out. It looks pretty good. I didn't go too crazy. Like I said, I didn't want to make it shine too much, like it was over cleaned or something. So yeah, it's not perfect. I'm probably going to clean it with mineral spirits or whatever cleaner I have, and yeah, that's gonna be it pretty much. I didn't really address in here because I can't really get in there. Maybe I'll try to unbolt that, but once again, I don't want to start unbolting parts of it, the linkages, because those go on a certain way, so I don't want to mess with that and end up causing like a total issue with the steering and steering being off center and stuff. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to clean it up a little bit more, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Here's the final product. I just cleaned it up with some paint thinner, and it's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Only thing I need to do is I took this little cover off right here, and a gasket came off with it, and it wasn't too good a shape, so I just kind of scraped it off and got rid of it. So I will need to get a little gasket that goes here. Other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. I don't plan on doing anything else to it unless I have to. So yeah, pretty happy with how this turned out. So I was pretty happy with how the steering box turned out, just by a simple wire brushing and just some cleaning. So I think I'm going to all right, here's how it's looking. Just some initial wire brushing. It's coming out pretty good. So I got these 3 ends cleaned up on the wire wheel as best I could. I'm gonna do some little detailing here with the handheld drill right there and see how they clean up better. But they're looking pretty good. Not perfect, but they're looking good. I think I might end up dipping all these in a little molasses little container try to clean up the threads, just try to get all the rust off the base. Try not to get any molasses in the actual joint ends. So I'm dipping my tie rod ends into a little small container of molasses. I'm going to leave it for a couple days and see how it turns out. Hopefully it will remove the rust from the threads. All right, so after comparing the gloss clear with the satin clear, they're pretty close. This is satin. You probably can't tell the difference. Well, maybe you could tell in this lighting right here. You could probably tell. And this is gloss. I'm going to go with the gloss because I think that the primer from Ford was a little tiny bit glossier than what I have on it right now. Completely forgot there's actually machine marks on these cases. You can see right here. And also right here. That's where Ford, I'm not sure. I don't know if they mounted the cases there or why exactly. I guess they machined them. They would have machined them after they were painted. For some reason, clearance issues. I don't really know. Regardless, from the factory, these would have been bare metal over here on these machine pieces. So I'm probably going to spray a little bit more red oxide to fix this, and then I'll machine those, and then we'll do clear coat. I'm going to take a look at the gas tank, which I haven't really even glanced at since I pulled it. Yeah, this tank is probably toast. It's pretty pitted. No reason to really try to reuse this. Yeah, stainless tanks nowadays are for the Cougar. The reproductions are pretty good. So yeah, there's that. That's just another thing crossed off the list. I do have original. I believe these are the fuel lines down here. Yeah, that's a fuel line right there. So I'm gonna look at these. Probably try to blow them out with compressed air and just see if anything comes out. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end up with new lines as well. All right, after a quick assessment of the lines, they're not like horrible shape. This short one, which is the one that goes in the front portion of the car, about from the torque box to the inner fender to connect to the fuel pump. I tweaked this end when I was taking it apart. I didn't mean to do that. I was actually trying to cut the rubber, but I got a hold of the end by accident. So that's no good. And this one isn't necessarily damaged in any way. And I just blew it out with air and some stuff shot out. So I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it, except that it's very dirty and rusty. But yeah, I think it's just safe to get new lines. I mean, they're like $130 or whatever, and that's dealing with fuel issues isn't necessarily something that I want to deal with for no reason, really. So I think I'm going to just go with new lines. New lines, new tank. The original fuel pump is in a box down there that has to be evaluated, and maybe I'll do that next, because I'm trying to I'm kind of shifting, not necessarily shifting, but I want to get the car rolling. So suspension, and I want to do everything that kind of gets done before the engine and stuff gets installed, which is fuel lines, brake lines, brake parts like booster, master cylinder gets installed, headlight stuff, headlight, vacuum lines, anything that runs along the inner fenders, firewall, all that stuff goes in before the engine goes in.